Love podcasts, hate nonsense. It's the PoliticsJOE podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, wait, I wanted to do the clap that I saw on the Labour conference earlier.
Was that Mike Tapp, Labour candidate for Dover?
Yeah.
They're pushing him forward. That's
Yeah.
the second time he's given a speech.
Unlike the boats, which they are going to be pushing back.
Hey! Starmer laying it down.
Laying it.
A sword day. A red day. 6 pledges for the Labour Party.
6. Which is less than the original,
I'm actually...
but more than the 5.
My sleeves are rolled up in homage to Keir Starmer. Because we're going to get down to some fucking business. There's work to be done. My sleeves are rolled.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing a tie.
No.
We're getting it done.
No, because you're a man of the people.
Exactly.
And you love football.
Did you get that impression? Because I got that impression.
What, that he loved football?
Yes, yeah.
To me, he just seems like the kind of guy who kicks about 5-a-side on a
Loves
Thursday evening.
Sticking it in the net.
And then a couple of brewskis, a couple of
nice
madries
cold one.
after with
couple
the...
of madries with the fellas.
Yeah.
Someone order a cold one.
And then home to beat their wives.
Wow.
What? Sorry. Whoa.
Don't
no?
think we could say that about Keir Starmer. Not sure that's necessarily
It
what
wasn't
he's up
about
to. Oh, just generally.
Yeah, generally.
Footballers.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, very good. Yeah, very good. Bit of housekeeping, Ava.
Yeah.
Sean Hickey's birthday today.
It is Sean Hickey's birthday today.
Happy birthday, Sean.
Happy
birthday to you.
birthday, Sean.
Drop an HBD in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Happy birthday, Sean Hickey.
Happy Sean Day.
Happy Sean Day to all who celebrate it.
Yeah. Drop a tricolour in the...
Is it Chatham House rules later? Are we allowed to talk about what you guys are doing to celebrate Sean's birthday? Can you mention it?
Yeah, you can, yeah. Because afterwards, this will come out after we've been.
Yes. So, audience, you might think this is slightly strange, but Sean actually likes to spend his birthdays in the company of Theresa May. Every year they do something together.
Well, if the environment's not hostile, Sean's not comfortable.
Exactly. He enjoys the hostility. So you're having lunch with Theresa May later.
Yeah.
Sean's celebrating. He's got a suit on.
He has got a suit on.
Looks brilliant.
That's not for Theresa May, though, to be fair.
That's just birthday suit.
Yeah. He's going to the Theresa May lunch naked. I'll be at Starmer's ground on Sunday.
You're at the Emirates?
Yeah.
What are you doing at the Emirates?
Everton.
Oh.
But if they win the league, it's not going to be that much fun for us.
I don't think they're going to win the league.
Well, and if they don't win the league, it's also not going to be that much fun for us because they'll probably end up kettling us.
Most banter time... Yeah, I had that at Millwall the other day. It was fucking terrible. Most banter timeline. City lose to West Ham. Arsenal also lose to Everton. League stays the same. City win.
I don't want to think like that because when we went to... I was at Chelsea a few weeks ago and there was all this chat like Everton could take this. Everton could take this. It was like 6-0. We're coming back, boys. Still got time to turn it around.
Still time.
Only 87 minutes in.
There's still time. There's always time.
Get it to penalties, boys.
So let's talk about Starmer for a second, Ava, because I'm conscious you have to go and we're running out of time. We've filled a lot of this with Sean Hickey birthday chat. Not to say that we shouldn't celebrate Sean's birthday, but nonetheless, we do need to talk about the Labour Party. We need to talk about the addition of a sixth first step. Starmer's 5 pledges, 5 missions for government. They've evolved. They've evolved like a shit Pokemon, and there's now a 6th one.
Yes, they're going to recruit 6,500 new teachers. They're going to pay for this by ending tax breaks for private schools. They're going to charge the VAT. Point with this.
Shoot.
This, to me, is part of his long line of proposals that I would argue are half-baked.
Oh.
They are not fully what?
Soggy bottomed?
Yeah, they are a bit damp squib.
The tanks aren't on the lawn.
The tanks aren't on the lawn.
They're only just getting to the driveway.
Yeah.
They're still in the road.
Exactly.
They're stuck on the A46.
They're still trying to get those stones down to Henge.
Yeah. Do you know why they're not on the lawn? ULEZ.
The tanks aren't ULEZ compliant.
They're not, unfortunately.
No. Anyway, so 6,500 new teachers.
Yep. That's a good thing.
Of course it's a good thing. But where are they coming from? is this going to be a plan that's going to incentivise through bursaries? Because let me tell you, as someone, many people I know have gone through the bursary system as it is, sucks, absolutely sucks. And the other thing I'd like to add to this, I would argue that actually this needs to be supply teachers and teaching assistants rather than teachers themselves. There aren't that many teachers, to be honest, but the problem that they've got with retention is that teachers are leaving because they don't have support staff anymore, and it means that they're dealing with huge class sizes.
I think pay is a question in that as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but on the survey from the NEU that came back when they had their recent Congress, everything that was coming out of that was really about conditions. It really was about like how they had like children with special needs in the class that they could not attend to because they've got 29 other pupils that they have to look after. How they were having to act as social workers because they've been given new guidelines that mean that they have to report if a child looks, I mean, they'd want to do this anyway, but if a child is malnourished or a child looks like it's, you know, they're in pain or whatever, safeguarding. They're so consumed with doing the job of 3 people.
Teaching 30 kids, yeah.
Yeah.
Left field idea. To teach in a private school, you do not need a PGCE. You can just go and teach the kids.
Do you teach first?
I think you can literally walk straight into a private school and teach there.
Really?
Believe so. I mean, some of the teachers that I had at my school, that was very clearly the case because they didn't have a fucking clue what they were doing.
They just walked in.
There was a guy who used to run a business and went and taught A-level business studies.
That sounds like really good.
He was terrible.
Oh.
I didn't do business studies, but the reviews were not positive. He didn't last very long. There was also a bloke who was also a Birmingham City fan, and when we won the Carling Cup, just like went on a tear and didn't come in to school for like several days.
Good for him.
Again, so maybe they should do a PGCE. Maybe they should be taught about these things. But I wonder if you reduce the level of qualification required to get people into the industry, you increase the pay and you increase the quality of the work they're doing by improving their conditions, maybe the recruitment crisis could be fixed quite easily. Just an idea. Just an idea.
Let's talk about point 3. Launch a new border security command.
Amen.
Neil Basu
He's out.
was on hand.
I think Neil Basu wants to be the bloke who's in charge of this new command. It has
Boats
to be
are?
said. Yeah. Say again, boats are?
Yeah.
Boats are, yes. I thought it was like a boats are us. I wouldn't know what you were going for. But
No,
yes,
no.
Tsar.
Tsar of boats.
Yes.
Again, that was a half-baked plan to me. Because what they want to do is strengthen basically like, I don't know, Interpol. Like they want to have like better communications to crack down on the smuggling gangs. Okay, what you haven't worked out in this plan is none of the smugglers go on the small boats. The small boats go without gangs, without gang links, right? The person who's operating the rudder is normally the person who couldn't quite afford the passage. There's no one from the gangs on there. When those people get into British waters, you can't push them back. You have to bring them inland, right? That's just the law. What are they going to do?
They're not suggesting they're going to push the boats back, though, are they?
Well, what I'm saying is that he's pushing himself into this tricky position where he's either got to say we're going to have a pushback policy or we're not going to have a pushback policy.
Also, the Tories will say, James Cleverly has said, that all of the things that he's announcing they do already.
And they do. You can see that up and down. It's 150 kilometres of coastline.
Like the interagency communication point that he was making. He said they do that already. It's just like a non-starter, according to James Cleverly. And
the French and the British keep fighting about what boat is in what waters. That's why some people die in the Channel.
It comes back, for me, it just comes back to supply and demand. How do you stop the demand? You make it so that they don't have to cross the Channel in that way. You can apply for a travel document, safe travel, make your claim in the UK. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's how you can crack down on that, to be quite honest with you. We've said it before. I'm sure we'll say it again. There's a phrase here that... So he has these five pledges, and each of these 6 first steps are kind of they're broadly in sort of a field of these missions, right? So the mission on the economy was secure the highest sustained growth in the G7. The economic pledge, the economic's first step, announced today is that they will deliver economic stability by sticking to tough spending rules, by providing 40,000 more appointments each week, funded by tackling tax avoidance and non-dom loopholes. I think that's a mishmash. Sorry, I've misread that, of the NHS waiting times. The first one is delivering economic stability by sticking to tough spending rules.
That's what you really want out. When you think Labour Party, you think tough spending rules.
You do.
That's what. Do you know what? I don't know about you, but I often look at 2011 and I think to myself,
more
austerity.
More.
Yeah, more.
More.
Take it away from me.
But that 40,000 appointments each week for the NHS waiting times, that's good, presumably.
Yeah, of course it is. But again, half-baked.
How so?
This is sort of like what they did with the tube drivers when there was a decision made that they were going to run a night tube, and then they started putting daytime tube drivers on nighttime rotors, and the tube drivers went, I don't think so, pal. I'm not working Saturday 12 hours overnight when I used to have like a Monday normal shift. And so they just went on strike. They just said, absolutely not.
Yep.
This is what NHS workers are going to do. Like, do you really think that GPs and clinicians are going to go, you're so right. I actually will work the evenings and weekends. And if you look at the numbers of doctors at the moment, GPs especially, there's been a huge exodus from the profession. There isn't enough staff. There aren't enough GPs to fulfill the daytime. Where are you going to find them to fill the evening?
Yeah, I think it's worth drawing a distinction here, isn't there, between certain types of services and provision, because there will be obviously doctors who work in hospitals being like, I'm sorry, Mr. Starmer, I already work 12 hours on, 12 hours off across evenings, across weekends. I do all the hours that God sends. And this sort of expansion of GP provision, I think, is slightly more addressed at that. It's not suggesting that, nurses or consultants that work in hospitals, etc., need to do more evening and weekend work, because clearly they already do quite a lot of it.
Some may argue that the consultants go home too early.
They always go home too early.
They do. They go home too early.
Stealing a living, the consultants are.
Oh, yeah. 12-hour shift, was it?
Absolutely stealing
was
a
it?
living.
Back in my day, it took me 12 hours just to walk to the hospital.
Scroungers. Get on your bike, go to the hospital next door, do another 12 hours there.
Yeah.
Embarrassing. And then finally, it's not ASBOs, but it is cracking down on antisocial behaviour.
You've missed out Great British Energy.
So Great British Energy. I mean, we have done, we fairly recently, we did a deep dive on that with Matt from Commonwealth, which I would encourage listeners to go back and listen to if they missed it. We've done, it's like I think we did about 40, maybe half an hour on Great British Energy and sort of the changes to the Green Investment Pledge and whether or not that scrapping of the 28 billion number is, how deep is that? There's a lot of detail there. He's someone who
How deep is your energy?
How deep is your energy? But yeah, I mean,
how deep is your drill? How deep is your thermal drill?
I don't have one.
Well, presumably we're getting clean energy, so maybe some of it will be.
I'll tell you what they should do is they should build an island. Are you familiar with Doggerland?
No.
There's this huge island that's basically the same size as Wales out in the North Sea, and it's a very shallow part of the North Sea because there used to be an island there. It got flooded when there was a big bit of glacial melt, and the sea's only about 10.
Glacial melt.
There's only about 10 to 40 meters of sea above the island. So you could fill that in and build a ginormous wind farm there. Like ginormous.
Well, I think Labour want to do onshore wind, don't they?
Do both. Do both. Imagine a wind farm the size of Wales. Imagine what you could do with that.
You probably provide quite a lot of wind.
Well, harness the power of the wind, I would say.
You could harness the power of wind.
Create a lot of energy. It's one of the reasons why developing in the UK is so difficult, right? Is because of, comparatively, certainly compared to our European neighbours, the nominal and real terms increases in the cost of energy. It's much bigger than our European neighbours. And secondly, the price of housing, which is also connected to and contingent on energy costs. But we have to do something about that to sort of secure long-term development and growth in the UK.
I'd love to see this Great British Energy Plan completely under public ownership. I mean, like when they start commissioning building wind farms or building solar farms, all of the people who are employed directly by the government. It's not outsourced to some shitty company like whoever's doing the fucking Old Street roundabout and is still working on it 8 years later. I
know someone who's connected to that project.
We both do.
Who retired rather than finishing it. Who went, fuck this.
I thought they were delaying the retirement.
If it's the same person, then the guy I know is checked out. He's done.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, fuck this.
Sucks around there, honestly.
Because Great British Energy is going to be publicly owned, right?
Yeah, but is it going to be like one of those public umbrellas? I don't know, like the prisons, but that's outsourced out to like G4S and Serco to do a lot of the day-to-day.
I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, the ASBO stuff, I mean, they haven't called it ASBOs, but the antisocial stuff, it all does feel a bit Tonty Blair, doesn't it? So
yeah,
don't put it past them getting a little bit of PFI in there or something similar.
You've just triggered a really weird memory for me, which is I remember I want to say it was our Spanish teacher had like an ASBO section of the whiteboard.
Right.
If you'd been like really unruly, you'd get an ASBO.
You get an ASBO in the classroom.
Yes, that's triggered something mad. Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
How often were you on the ASBO board?
Not in Spanish.
No.
I had a lot of respect for señor.
Oh, it was señor.
That's the one I told I was muy caliente.
Muy caliente.
Yeah.
Well, that's us then.
Well, should we just
You've got to go.
completely,
You've got to go.
Well, we've got 2 minutes.
You're going to be late for Theresa May.
I was just going to say we could just let them know what pledges he has
Go on then.
reneged on. Defend migrants' rights, that's changed.
Oh, is this from his original...
Pledges.
His original pledges when he was going for the Labour leadership?
Another future is possible. These have now been deleted off the website. I can confirm. Finally. It was getting confusing.
It was getting confusing. Too many pledges.
So he wanted to increase income tax for the top 5% of earners. He wanted to abolish universal credit and end the Tories' cruel cuts in corporation tax. Sorry, the screen just went funny. He wanted to put the Green New Deal at the heart of everything we do. Well, that's gone. No more illegal wars. That's a bit close to the bone, that, isn't it? They're going to cut off water and power to Wales. We have a right to defend ourselves.
Yes,
against the Welsh.
Yeah.
Public services should be in public hands. Okay, they've still done that with the rail.
And Great British Energy. Work
shoulder to shoulder with trade unions.
Big meeting yesterday, wasn't it?
There was a big meeting yesterday. The New Deal is coming out of consultation.
You've got 30 seconds, Ava Santina.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I boring you with the fucking politics on the fucking politics podcast?
No.
Right. Do you know what, listeners? Don't worry about it.
Wow.
Someone noted in the subreddit yesterday when I was talking about prisons, and then you just went, yeah, anyway, have you seen this lettering?
Yeah, that was rude. But I said, could you guys talk about this? I'm just going to look up the letter. And so that's what happened.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I just drifted off.
Do you want to say anything about Starmer?
I say a lot about him all the time. I mean, doesn't get my heart racing.
No?
No. I'm not impressed.
I think just for good measure, can we put a little clip of Tony Blair's 1996 or 7 public television broadcast in here?
Right, okay.
I just really want you guys to see it.
Well, let's finish with that.
Yeah.
Well, that can roll. That if there were credits, the credits would roll over the top of it. Let's do that.
Today they didn't say things can only get better, but we did hear things have gotten worse.
Yeah, and Rachel Reeves said after the last 14 years, stability is change. It's a strong one, that.
Now enjoy Tony Blair.
What kind of country will we live in?
And tonight I intend to answer hard questions about what Labour will do about them in government. We will cut class sizes to 30 or under. We will get 250,000 under 25-year-olds off the dole and into work. We will set tough rules for public spending and borrowing. Together we can build New Britain. To ask me how, phone this number now.
To talk to Tony Blair in person about these pledges or for a copy of the document and pledge card, call 0990 300 900 now.